And thank you so much for joining in. Even as we get to discuss about food, we know that food is the most important conversation every day, every moment. Food is always with us. So we want to begin right away, even as we look at this. And I'm coming from, like you have been explaining, I'm coming from Equity Afya. Equity Afya is one of the fastest growing branches in the country. And we have some even other branches in Congo. We are even planning to expand to Tanzania and even Uganda as God will allow. So right now I'm coming from Kitengela, rather Nairobi West, and also in Kitengela. That's where you can find me, Nairobi West, behind Timol. So as we continue, I'll just want for you to take a moment of checking your health assessment. One of the most wonderful things I've ever come across is this tool that helps you to check your health status. And you can do it tonight, and it will give you feedback immediately. It will send a report to you in your mail. So just scan the code, you can scan the code, and it will be sent to your mail immediately as soon as possible. So maybe I can allow a few moments, you scan the code, and then just do a self-assessment of yourself. Know how you're doing. If something is out of work, kindly reach out to the number that will be, of course, at the end of that assessment, there's a number that is available for you. Just chat with us on WhatsApp, and we shall be able to help you in any way that we can. But actually, we need to be very much proactive when it comes to our health and how we are doing. I believe that is enough time. Everybody has had a chance to scan that QR code. We can continue. So as we are doing this, as we are having this conversation tonight, I want to ask this pertinent question, and I can see we have joined. We are many of us here. Kindly, just in the chat. I don't know if they are enabled, Jackie, if they are enabled to chat in the chat box. Kindly, please answer this question. What do you have for supper tonight? That is, if you have had supper, what have you had? And if you're planning to have supper, what are you planning to have for supper tonight? There is a reason as to why this question is so pertinent, and it will become so clear as we are continuing with our conversation tonight, beyond the plate, the role of nutrition in management of disease. So please do not shy. Even if you are planning to kuinama tonight, that is still very okay. There's no harm in that. So please just keep the chats coming. I can see they're coming in. So God bless you for that. What did you have for supper tonight? And or rather, what are you planning to have for supper? It will be very educative for you if you can answer that. The other tool I want to bring across to you, you can type this on your website, carecall.solutions. These are one of the brainchild of Carecall, whereby they have developed a website whereby you can do any risk assessment, be it mental, nutritional, exercise, any that you can be able to do. So this is something that a tool that you can use every day to gauge how your health is doing. And it always gives you a score at the end. If it tells you this, then probably you need to change something or probably see a healthcare provider, and it will be very beneficial for you. But for tonight, one of the things, the assessment I will really encourage you to take is this diet and nutrition assessment. Just check for yourself. How are you doing nutritionally? Even as you keep the responses coming in about what you are planning to have tonight or what you have already had, how are you doing nutritionally? How is your diet? So you can always be able to do that. So let us dig right into our conversation. Did you know that your body is the biggest investment? Did you know that? It is, yes, we have other investments out there, and sometimes we give them priority. We have a car, we have a house, we have businesses. We invest a lot in them. But actually, none of them can rival your body. Your body is the biggest investment of all. And therefore, our encouragement for you this evening, don't abuse it. Don't abuse it. Because it's the only place that you will ever have to live. Why are we saying this? Health is the greatest treasure. We have possessions, and we have myriads of possessions in this life. But of all of them, the one that is most important, most precious, the one that actually is of utmost importance is our health. of all temporal possessions, meaning, I love how this idea comes out, that health is something that is temporary. It can be there today and it cannot be there tomorrow. And this you can see when we get sick, when you have any type of condition. So that is why we are calling each and every one of us to know that health is not just one of the appendages, but actually it is the greatest treasure that we can ever have. And therefore, you find that we sacrifice our health in terms of getting wealth, in terms of getting honor, learning, and all this. But then health, we are deteriorating every other day. But when your health is there to the fullest, when you have your health and you are enjoying it actually, then all of these attainments will really make lots and lots of sense. Why will you have a lot of wealth only to use it to cure that disease, and then at the end of the day, it kills you? So therefore, health is the greatest treasure. So one of the polls, actually, this is our research that we have been doing, and this is from the medical camps that we usually carry out as Equity Afya. We are very much out there doing medical camps, wellnesses, sensitizing people, and our goal is that we have healthy populations. So one of the questions that we ask people is this: are half of your foods in a day fruits and or vegetables? This is just in the past year. Throughout the whole of this year, we've been doing this in our medical camps. And you can see from the responses that many, it's actually slightly a half, are the one that are doing half of their food as vegetables and as fruits. So if you total the number of people that are in your household, you just know that if maybe it's two, your husband and your wife, then probably one of you is doing a half and the other one is not doing as enough. Then the other thing that we have noted, we also ask this very wonderful question: how many days a week do you eat red meat, deep fried foods, and or eggs? And we got these responses: less than 3 days or more than 3 days. And you can see that it's slightly again more than half that really do less than 3 days. That means that most people are eating meat more than 3 days a week. And this will inform our conversation as we are going on. Now, the reason for all this is that right now in our country, right now in Kenya, we are having a problem with communicable diseases, that is NCDs. These are non-communicable diseases. These are diseases that are actually what we call lifestyle diseases. They are responsible for more than 50 of inpatient hospital admissions and 39% of all deaths annually. And leading in that category is, of course, the number one leading condition here is cardiovascular diseases. Now, the examples of lifestyle diseases you can see from that picture. You can look at all that: high blood pressure, cancer, arthritis, lower back pain, asthma, all of these conditions. And sometimes ulcers, it's not really a chronic disease per se, but it's one of the major lifestyle diseases that are affecting people today. And so in the world, we are realizing that these lifestyle diseases, they are responsible for 74% of all deaths worldwide. You can imagine that. Almost three quarters of deaths in the world, they are attributed to lifestyle conditions. And when we were growing up, most times, especially in our country where I came from some 20 years back, this was viewed as a Western problem and also an old people problem. But today, I can tell you that it's no longer that problem. We are having young children today having these conditions. We are having young people today having these conditions, and they are increasing day by day. And these are things that can be avoided. These are things that we can actually prevent, and we can have healthy populations that can really champion healthy communities and also develop a nation. So what are we trying to bring across? That most of these conditions, they actually come from risks that are modifiable. These are risks that you can actually change. One of those risks, number one, of course, is the unhealthy diet. Number two is physical inactivity. That maybe we shall talk about it another time in the future. Tobacco use, alcohol abuse, being overweight, and chronic stress. These are all of these risks here. These are risks that you can modify. There are some conditions which are brought, of course, because of genetics, age, and such like, which we cannot modify. But actually, all these risks here that we are talking about, they are the major contributors to lifestyle diseases. So why is there an increase? What is happening? If you went back some, again, I will keep referring back to where we came from, some 20 years back, some 10 years back, you will see that there has been a change. There has been I can say a very marked change, especially when it comes to our diet. We have changed our diet from that which was protective, cancer protective, that was nourishing, that was full of phytonutrients, phytochemicals, antioxidants. And now the diet that we are having today is, number one, adulterated, it is denatured, it is demineralized, and also it is even devitaminized. And now then there is now the quack that they add in, fortified. It's removed, and then there is the aspect of fortified. So we have moved from our traditional diet that was really enriching, that was making us live productively, less disease. We have moved now to this Western diet that is rich in charred red organ meats. That is what people are consuming today, much today. That is full of fat, full of cholesterol, full of sugar and salt, that all of these are posing risks not only for cancer, but for so many conditions. Now, look at that. Just let that sink in. What are you eating every day as you consume anything that you are consuming? Is what you are eating really healthy? When you take that food, do we take time to look at the food labels of what we are consuming? And that is why we are having lots and lots of cases today of diabetes, lots and lots of cases today of high blood pressure, lots and lots of cases today. Actually, whenever somebody comes to the hospital complaining of a stomach ache, even before the doctor does the tests, they'll just tell you, probably you have ulcers. Probably you have gastritis. And this is a condition that we have seen today so much increasing. And that is something that we can easily prevent if you and I watch we are eating. So as we are looking at all that, our upfront when it comes to health, we look at it not just from one viewpoint, we look at it from a whole viewpoint, whereby health is a connected set of wonderful principles that really, if you hook them up together, if you put them together, then this is a very wonderful phenomenon whereby now you come to a place whereby we are in wellness. And these aspects, one of them is physical, emotional, spiritual, social, and mental. So put all of those together, and then you and I will be enjoying wonderful health. That is why whenever I see a client, whenever a client comes to me and he has this condition, that condition, I am quick to point them out that it is not just what you have presented to me. I am quick to ask probing questions that will really inform me what is happening in their life. The same case applies in our workplace. So we are moving from a place whereby illness to wellness. I wish we could, all of us, move from zero. Zero actually is a person who is death. We could move from 1, 2, 3 and be above 6. That is where now we can be talking that we are in wellness. Most people today, that is where they are. You have multiple medications. You have poor quality of life. You can see in the workplace, you are always on sick of. You are using your hard-earned money to cure that disease, this disease. Today it's you, tomorrow is your sibling, the other day is your father and your mother, and so on and so on. So the cycle continues. And actually, this is something that you and I can avoid if we just replaced I with we. That is illness, you replaced it with wellness, so that we can move from all of these conditions that are poor, whereby you have symptoms of myriad problems of diseases, whereby you move to, you have regular exercise, you have good nutrition, you have 100% function. You don't have medications. You depend on your food as medication. So health is the greatest treasure that you can ever have. As we continue this, I just want to note this, that you just try to imagine Suppose today a doctor announced a new miracle pill that could protect 8 out of 10 people from ever getting cancer, diabetes, or having mental issues. For example, when I was growing up, there was a doctor, actually he made a lot of money. He was a herbalist in Loliondo, I think it was in Tanzania. And I remember that in our village, there was actually a bus stop going to Loliondo direct. And people were going to that place just for this miracle cure. And people are traveling long distances. Today, if I announce that there is a cure for a certain condition and I really did enough PR, I know that people will flock to where I am. But actually, I'm here to inform you, actually, no such pill exists. But there is something as effective. Yes, there's no such pill that can cure all conditions, but there is something just as effective. And that effectiveness is whereby you and I will know that you will not take medication. People ask, will I take medications forever for hypertension and diabetes mellitus? Will I take these medications forever? And the answer is only found in the cure is in the cause. When you know what is causing the problem, when you know what is triggering your condition, you have actually done 90% of finding the cure for that problem. So for example, if somebody has a headache, if you have a headache, no, let me use ulcers. If you have ulcers and you need to ask yourself, why is it that I am having ulcers? You need to ask yourself the cause. The cause for ulcers is not getting more antacids. You need to investigate what you are eating in your diet. You need to know if you are taking enough water. So when you do all that, then you are very near to finding the cure. I talk this because I myself, I am an ulcer survivor. For 7 years, that is from when I was in Form 2 all the way until I finished campus, I had severe ulcers. There are foods I could not touch. And even I remember that time the doctor told me that don't eat beans, don't eat sukuma wiki. I never used to touch those. So I used to eat most of, and I was not even eating salt. You can imagine that. Life was a hard struggle for me. So I was a walking chemist with antacids everywhere. In the room, I had antacids. In the class where we used to learn from, I had antacids. In the field, because I exercise a lot, in the field, there's a place where nilikuwa na mawe, na chini ya hiyo mawe nilikuwa nimeweka karatasi, nimeifunika na nimeweka antacids hapo. In case I have an attack, I could quickly run to that. Until I met a doctor, 7 years later, until I met a doctor, and when the doctor looked at me, he just asked me a very simple question: what are you eating? And mark you, then I was a nutritionist. I was still in campus. I was still practicing. I had still not yet known all this. What are you eating? So he went, I told him what I'm eating, what usually my diet consists of. And all he prescribed for me for 7 years, all he prescribed for me is that change your diet. So we did a few things. I changed my diet. In 6 months, my ulcers disappeared. And today I am speaking 15 years later. I don't have ulcers in my system. And I can tell you, my wife, if she was here, she could tell you that one of my favorite foods today is sukuma wiki and beans. That is my favorite. If I can eat sukuma wiki 4 times a week and I have no problem. I can eat beans comfortably and I have no problem. So when you know what is causing the problem, that is when indeed you have found the cure. So what are we trying to say? In case of sickness, first identify the cause. Any sickness, whenever you have any sickness, headache, probably most people, when you have headache, you're lacking water. So the cause is not headaches or maramoja. It's that you need to take plenty of water. You need to take water. Then be willing to change the unhealthful condition or remove it, and then correct the wrong habit, and then just assist nature in her efforts to expel the impurities and to restore proper balance and function. So when you hack this, you and I, we are in a journey of wellness. And it's my prayer today, this evening, that you and I can be in that journey. So as we look at this aspect of beyond the plate, I've just given you a preamble. I cannot finish. It's a long topic. Even as I was preparing to present this, I was asking, what do I leave out? What do I bring in? But let me just give you nuggets. Thomas Edison, this was a famous inventor, actually in the year, I believe in the year 1931. This is what he said. He said that the doctor of the future will no longer treat the human frame with drugs, but rather will cure and prevent disease with nutrition. This was all the way back in the year 1931. And now we are in the future, I believe. And you can see that nutrition is the major contributor when it comes to lifestyle conditions. That is why we need to lay much emphasis when it comes to nutrition. We run a team together with a group of doctors, psychologists, and nutritionists. We run a whole program that is called CDMP, Chronic Disease Management Program, that we have seen wonderful results. And 90%, I can say, of that program is actually on nutrition. We have been able to see wonderful results together with the clientele that we have been serving. We have been able to reduce their medication, and some have even gone to reversal simply because of adhering to the principles of nutrition. So as we look at this is the healthy eating plate. That is how it looks like. So have your plate. I know we are told it's vegetables, but actually it's vegetables and fruits. Have your plate should consist of that. Then the other one should have a carbohydrate, just a quarter of it, and then a healthy protein. And then now the appendages to that is that you should be having water, stay active, and then you have healthy fats. And we shall be unpacking this as we go along. Let us unpack this now in better detail. So when you consider this plate, this is how actually your plate should be looking like. So how do we go on? Let me begin with water. What actually is nutrition? Look at that. That is how your body, you can see almost the entirety of your body is made of water. Oh, is that not amazing? Your brain is 83% of water. Your blood is 94% water. Your heart is made of 75% of water. Your muscles. Actually, the one place that does not have enough water, bones are the only ones that have around 22% of water. But actually, our entire system is made up of water. Yet, how many people today do not take enough water? We need to take enough water. We are actually living in a generation whereby more people are using water outside instead of inside. We bathe every day. We ensure that you wash your hands every other day. But did you know that the same way we use water outside, we should use it also the same way internally? If we could use plenty of water internally, then we could be avoiding a myriad of problems. Now, the recommended figure for water intake is actually, they usually say it's 8 glasses. But today I'm going to give you a wonderful formula that you can actually use. But before I do that, let us just see this. This is how much water you lose in a day. From your kidneys, that is when you go to the urine, you lose around 1.5. From your lungs, you lose around 0.5 liters. Sweat, 0.4, 0.3. If you add that one up, that is around you lose around 2.7 liters of water from the system. And so this needs to get back into your system by drinking water, just pure, plain water. And actually how to know that the water that you're taking is enough is by simply ensuring that when you go to the urinal, the water you took in actually should be like the same that came out. It should be almost clear, almost around there clear. That shows that you have taken enough water. I have many times I go to the urinals and it's not really like I want to check on people, but I'm actually very curious and I'm amazed at how people are living. And watu wanaenda haja ndogo, but haja ndogo inakuwa inanuka kushinda hata haja kubwa. I don't know if you have ever experienced that. I'm talking about men generally, men. I don't know if ladies have that problem, but I've seen that people are not taking enough water. We need to take water. Water is very essential. And I want to bring this from a doctor called Fereydun. Fereydun I think in the year 1986, he was a doctor attached to an Iranian prison. And if you can find this book online, it's called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. He actually managed to cure ulcers using water. Now, I'm not saying that you should not use medication, But this was his groundbreaking, and he has really documented it so well. What happened is that during those days, there was not enough medication for ulcers. So on one of the nights, there was an outbreak and there was not enough medication. So he thought around it, and there was nothing he could do. So he told the patients, just be sipping water every now and again, be sipping water every now and again. And actually, you can look this up online. It is reported that he cured over 3,000 inmates actually with just water. The power of taking water. So friends, you and I today, we need to start taking water. So how much water? Actually, it's start 5 ml by your body weight. We need to start taking water by our body weight. So if I'm weighing 100 kg, then I should multiply my body weight by water. This is 35 ml. That is 3,500 ml. You divide by 1,000. That is around 3.5 liters. So that is the amount of water that I need to take in a day. You need to take water. That is the amount of water that you need to take in a day. And then as we take water, let us be very careful that we don't drink water with meals. We don't take water with meals. Actually, drinking with meals delays digestion. What actually happens is that when you drink water with meals, you kind of arrest digestion. Digestion stops. And most of the water that you're taking during that time is actually water. It's cold water, so you arrest digestion. Or sometimes it gives you this impulse that you are full, umeshiba na hujashiba, so nakula chakula kidogo, 30 minutes later unasikia kwamba uko na njaa, unarudi tena kula. So teach yourself to drink water before meals. I will give you what you can do 30 minutes before a meal. If I know that in the next 30 minutes I'm going to eat a meal, then 30 minutes before a meal, be taking water. Then water, then take 2 hours later after a meal. That is the water that you can take 2 hours later after a meal. 30 minutes before, 2 hours later after a meal. So be not taking water with meal. Don't wash down your food with water. You are arresting digestion and you are interfering with the, you see, water is alkaline. It interferes with the stomach acidity. Therefore, the proteins, it interferes with protein and fat digestion, and you don't want to interfere. That's why people are complaining that my stomach is rumbling. I have a lot of gas. The other day I was in a place, an event, and I was eating ngwashe, sweet potato. I was eating it just raw. I did not have any water. I did not have any milk. I did not have uji. And my friends were asking me, you can eat sweet potato with nothing and you are okay. It's not choking you. And I was very okay with it, simply because my system is so well aerated, rather hydrated. It is so well lubricated that I can chew. I know that I need to chew to masticate that sweet potato well before I swallow it up. So that is very, very essential. So as we continue that now, let's now come to the main culprit that we are talking about. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said this: let food be thy medicine, and the medicine be thy food. Friends, that is the father of modern medicine. He said that let food be your medicine. So the one thing I want to begin with is this acid link. How is it that today we are having more people complaining of acidity, acidosis, complaining of acid issues every now and again? And you can see acid foods affect the entirety of the system, be it uric acid, be it just you have excess heartburn. Well, actually, when you have excess heartburn, that is something that tells you that you have excess acid in the system. You have you are producing a lot of acid, or you are eating a lot of acid foods. I hope my responses for this evening, they are coming in the chat. What did you have for supper tonight? Or what are you planning to have for supper tonight? I can see only 13 people have responded, and we are a way bigger number than that. Kindly let us respond in our chat. What are you planning to have for supper tonight? And or what have you eaten for supper? Hata kama umeinama, andika tu nimeinama. That is very okay. There is a reason as to why that question is so paramount for our conversation this evening. So why are we talking about the acid link? The pH inside the body, you can look at that graph. This is what it looks like. I'm not interested so much about saliva. That's our issues we can talk about today. But look at the blood one. The blood pH is 7.35 to 7.45. 7.35 to 7.45. It is maintained at that narrow range. And so we are having today that that pH is getting skewed. People are becoming more acidic. We are slightly alkaline. We are not acidic. We are alkaline. We are alkaline creatures. And this is what Dr. Otto, in the year 1931, he won a Nobel Prize for a cancer discovery. And this is what he discovered, that no disease, including cancer, can exist in an alkaline environment. So what does it mean that we are alkaline? You can see that from very clearly from the just the measurements. We are very much alkaline. But now when you make your body to be acidic, you increase what we call inflammation. Inflammation comes in so many ways. So any condition that ends with itis, ulceritis, gastritis, arthritis, all of these conditions that end itis, most of that is inflammation. Ni uvimbe ndani ya mwili. Now, when you are in an acidic state, that means that it is bringing in an inflammatory condition, and therefore we need to ensure that our bodies come to a place whereby we do not have such a problem. So that is what Dr. Otto said. So what is it that is bringing this acid in the system? Now, on my left side, you can see I have highlighted there, we have bad acid foods. And on my right, we have what we call high acid foods. Now, the number one bad acid food in the world is sugar. And this is not sugar in food, but refined sugar. Go back again some 10 years ago. We never used to do a lot of sugar. We used to drink sugarless porridge, sugarless tea, and so on and so on. But today we are taking a lot of sugar. Sugar is added everywhere. It is so amazing that even the fried chicken that we buy out there is has sugar added to it. The cakes, the cookies, all of these foods have added sugar. The foods that you buy, the crisps in the supermarket, the sodas, all of these things, they have added sugar. And sugar is the number one culprit when it comes to raising your acid levels. The other thing that is raising your acid levels is caffeine. Caffeine in tea. I wish I had time, I could unpack this. I could unpack all of this, but I don't have time. Instead of using sugar, use honey. Honey is good. There's jaggery. There is another sugar called stevia. And actually, I'm quick to point out here, there's a child who came to a hospital where I was, and the child, wakati alipimwa, I just recommended the doctor measure the thiamine levels. Actually, sugar destroyed vitamin B1 in children. Vitamin B1 is so essential in cognitive function. Many times parents are complaining, oh, mtoto wangu ashiki kitu kwa class. Mtoto wangu ni zuzu, mtoto wangu ni danda. And what is your child feeding? They are on a high sugar diet. They are always running up and down. Umewanunulia sweets. When my father used to come home growing up, alikuwa anatuleteanga njugu ama banana. That's what he used to bring us. But that's today, what are you bringing your children? You're bringing them sweets, you're bringing them cakes, candies, high sugar, high sugar. It's destroying that vitamin, which is very essential for memory retention and for cognitive function, actually, when it comes to children. Caffeine, a major problem again in raising acidity levels, processed foods, fried foods. I wish I had time to talk about all this. Now, when I say bad acid foods, these are essentially foods that you can avoid. Instead of using caffeine that is found in tea, coffee, chocolate, I'm amazed today I meet people who tell me that they do not know that chocolate has caffeine. It does have caffeine, but in very small quantities. But remember that kidogo kidogo hujaza kibaba. So use caffeine-free alternatives today in the market. That is, we have lemon and ginger. We have sorghum tea. We have a variety of caffeine-free hibiscus. We have a variety of caffeine-free teas today in the market that are actually very, very sweet and you can be able to use. Processed food, these are foods that you can do without, actually. Fried foods, foods that you can do without, or once in a while, you can do that. Sweets. I wish I was talking about ulcers today. I could have said that. I want to say this categorically, that the number one cause of ulcers, in my estimation, this is my research, my own personal research. You cannot find it anywhere. The number one cause of ulcers today is sweets. Maybe I will explain that in the near future if God allows for another opportunity. Alcohol, tobacco, all of these raise your acid levels. Then on the right side, we have high acid foods. Look at number 1, meat, of course. Meat, animal protein, of course, is acidic in nature. That is how it is. Dairy. By the way, something amazing is that many people do not know that milk is acidic. Milk is a protein. It's an animal protein, and actually it is acidic. That is why I am amazed that today we have doctors and fellow nutritionists today who recommend that we should be taking dairy. Wakati uko na ulcers unasikia tu kunywa maziwa. What it does is that inafunika hiyo kidonda kidogo tu, alafu ikiachilia hiyo uchungu tena inarudi. Then the other culprit that it comes high acid food, of course, is wheat. Today we are consuming a lot of wheat. Just look at your diet today, what you have eaten since morning up to now. What you have eaten since morning up to now. A lot of wheat, high acid food. So these are foods that you can do in moderation. That is on the right side, foods that you can do in moderation. But the bad acid foods, those are foods that you can essentially remove from your diet, and we shall be having a wonderful condition. So the question I want you to ask yourself tonight, probably you're seated with your hubby, your husband, or your friend, you're listening to me this evening. Maybe you can turn to them and ask them, are you acidic? Are you acidic? And how do you know you are acidic? One of the best ways to know that you're acidic, if you get angry almost all the time, if you hold on to your anger for 2 days, a whole day, 1 week, then that shows that you are really acidic. And that comes from the food that you are eating. These are some of the things that show that your body is really acidic. I wish I could unpack each and every one of them. So food, Anne Wigmore, another wonderful food enthusiast. This is what she said, that food can be the greatest form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. So is the food that you are eating actually healing you, or is it infecting you? Is it fighting disease, or is it killing you? Is it killing you slowly? I have met people who have said, me, I'd rather die slowly. Yes, we shall all die. But I have resolved in my life that as I die, let me die alone. Friends, don't die with your family. How many people today have lost livelihoods? They have lost productivity because watu sahii wako kwa madeni, wengine wako wamewekwa hata wamekuwa blacklisted, wengine wameuza their family livelihood in curing diseases that could have been easily avoided. So friends, let us be very careful that we do this. So how do you alkalize the system? This is why I bring in this concept. Just in the morning when you wake up, just take lemon water. Squeeze some 2 lemons in water, and then warm water, and then take every morning. Just 2 lemons in warm water every morning. This will be very, very beneficial for you. And then the other way to alkalize your system, plenty of the dark green leafy vegetables and fruits. This is what alkalizes your system. And then the other thing again that alkalizes your system is whole grains. Kama unatumia ugali, tumia ile ugali ya gishagi. Tumekuwa so sophisticated today that tunatumia ugali ya grade 1 ambayo ina release sugars very quickly, so it creates the problem of acidity. But kula ile ugali ingine ile ya gishagi yenye iko na hiyo ngozi, hiyo hata ukulangi mingi, na kula tu kidogo and you are very good to go. So whole grains, they actually alkalize your system. So if the stomach could talk today, now this brings us to the question I asked this evening. Probably maybe Caro, are you here? Caro?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know if they indicated in the chat. I don't know what is somebody having for supper this evening. Probably maybe a few responses.
Okay. So what are people having for dinner? Cabbage and fish, wali and beans. There's broccoli, minced meat, and rice with smoothie as dessert. Wow. There is black tea, ugali greens, chicken leg, broccoli, and plantain. There's cabbage, meat, and ugali kidogo. And then ugali, spinach, and matumbo. Where else? Matoke and vegetables. The people even indicating the portion. So little rice, beans, and steamed spinach. crocodile meat, ugali and spinach. Sijui tuende sapa huko.
Crocodile meat.
Yes.
Wonderful.
There's githeri with cabbage. And then fish, murenda, ugali, cabbage,
Okay,
and
okay.
banana. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for the wonderful responses. Thank you for being a wonderful audience this evening. I love those responses. I love that one who said nakula ugali, nakula nyama, vegetables na ugali kidogo. Sijui mbona kusema nyama kidogo. But it's okay. Now, if the stomach could talk, actually the stomach always talks, but I wish it had a mouth to say, to tell you that, please stop overfeeding me. Stop giving me too much. Now, this is the reason as to why I asked you this question tonight. One of the things I have discovered is that when do you need energy? Just ask yourself, when do you need energy? Do you need energy at night or during the day when you are awake? Do you need energy when you are awake or when you are going to sleep? You actually need energy when you are awake. You don't need a lot of energy when you're going to sleep. So many of us, we are killing ourselves at night. There was an old mama in our village who actually, she was well endowed. When I say well endowed, alikuwa ni mkubwa, alikuwa amejaajaa, ameshonashona. And this mama was very active. All through the day ungempata hapa na pale, ako kwa shamba, anafanya hiki na kile. But on this particular day alikula vizuri. Unajua kukula vizuri where I come from ni kukula ugali jioni, nyama na mboga, najiwekelea vizuri sawa sawa, akakula vizuri. And then akiwa ameketi pale kwa kiti, most people, I've actually done this a few times, so I have known that most people don't like bathing in the evening. And actually I always say this, if you have to miss a shower, never miss the evening shower. So huyu mama vile ako pale, unajua ukikula unachokanga, akakula pale kwa kiti, akaitisha akasema niletee socks watoto wangu, akamletea socks, na hivyo ndiye alienda akalala, na alilala akalala. Kesho yake alikuwa anapenda kuamka mapema. She could not be able to wake up. So when they went to check, they discovered that she was dead. Now that very evening before aende kulala, walikuwa wamegombana na neighbor. And this neighbor, they have not always been in good speaking terms. So when she died, they accused the neighbor of witchcraft. And that neighbor was almost lynched to death if it was not for the police. So when they took the lady for post-mortem, they discovered that the lady actually died of stroke. If the stomach could talk, it could tell you, I don't need a heavy meal at night. I need a heavy meal at breakfast. That's why we always say that eat breakfast like a king. And lunch like a queen, and then supper like a pauper. You actually need a cup of juice, a little bit of some salad, and then you are good to go. So if the stomach could talk, it could tell you that indeed, confirm, is my screen moving? Oh yes, it's moving. Thank you. So if the stomach could talk, it will tell you that it needs rest. The stomach may never fully recover, but if you begin today, actually this evening, if you begin today by having a small meal at night, it will actually go a long way in informing the choices and in making you to be better when it comes to health. So we need to make these small changes. The stomach must have careful attention. It must not be kept in continual operation. Give this misused and much abused organ some peace of quiet and rest. Oh, how much the stomach is abused. It just needs some peace. But many have resolved. And I know somebody still listening to me, I'll say, I don't want peace. I want problems always. Well and good. Please, I will not choose for you, but that is a question to you. But actually, I want to say this. If you want peace, have a peaceful stomach. If you want peace, just choose to have a peaceful stomach. So how do you have a peaceful stomach? One of the ways is that ensure that you space your meals very well. 5 to 6 hours should elapse before you do the next meal. 5 to 6 hours just should, between meals, when you have eaten a meal, allow 5 to 6 hours to pass before you eat a meal. Don't snack. There's nothing like snacking. When you have eaten well at a single sitting, you don't need to eat anything again until 6 hours have passed. When you snack more and more, you're actually bringing in more problems. That food has not gone out. I wish I had time to talk about sugar, but let me just highlight it. Sugar, the number one culprit. We have actually over 9,000 test buds, which are very beneficial to you and I, but we have chosen to use our test buds only for a few things: chapati, chipo pale, kanyama pale, na managu pale. But you are actually can test over 9,000 foods and you are okay with that. So what do we need to do? What we actually need to do is that, remember, a doctor a day keeps the doctor away. You are what you eat. Whatsoever you are consuming, you are what you eat. Let us not buy sickness. Let us not buy sickness. So when we are talking of sugar, we are talking of it in terms of glycemic index. How fast the food you eat releases sugar. That's what we call glycemic index. How fast the food you eat releases sugar. As you can see from the chart there, there's high GI and low GI. All those that are indicated there, they are high GI. The white bread, the watermelon, processed food, and some of these things are actually very good. I'm not saying that we should not eat watermelon, but I'm just showing you that some of the foods that we consume every now and again, they are high GI. That's why ukikunywa kachai asubuhi na slices mbili za mkate na ni white bread, kidogo kidogo after 1 hour unasikia njaa, because it releases sugars very quickly, graph iko huko juu, and all of a sudden again there's a crash. So to avoid that, eat low GI foods, a balanced, plenty of vegetables. Hiyo ugali ya jioni ilete asubuhi. Alafu jioni yako kachai kenye unakunywa asubuhi kapeleke pale. So change the way we are eating, and this is something I learned. I was not born that way. This is something I learned, and it has really helped me a lot. So glycemic index, high GI, of course, above 70. Those are foods that are, most of them are processed and fried foods. Medium GI, you always need to look for a combination of this, and they will actually be very helpful for you. The beauty this evening, I want to say, is that the beauty is that food as medicine is that the choice to heal and promote health can begin as soon as the next meal. So this evening, as you are listening to me, can actually start this journey. Finally, as I conclude, remember that good food equals to good mood. The food you are eating actually affects your mood. We need those healthy fats, those omega-3s, and you can get those omega-3s, of course, from if you are eating the oily fish, or you are having a supplement of oily fish. I know kids are given the omega-3 supplement, 7Cs and all that. But actually today in the market, we have a lot of plant-based source of omegas. When you eat a variety of the chia seeds, flax seeds, olives, and all these nuts, they are very, very essential to you. Walnuts, very essential for you. Antioxidant-rich brain foods, they boost you very well. Then now, last, fiber. Oh, dear friends, I wish I could talk more on this. Fiber. We are living in a constipated generation. On my left, you can see there that people, you are having irregular bowel movements. Some can go 3 days without a bowel movement because of not having enough fiber. And where do you get fiber? Of course, it's from the vegetables, from the fruits, and from the whole foods, the way it was made. That is how you are supposed to take. So remember, dear friends, when diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need. Remember that very well. When diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need. That's why when you are managing patients today, we are telling them kindly, ensure that you eat a healthy diet. Those who think that they have no time for healthy eating will soon or later have to find time for illness. So dear friends, remember, nutrition is king, exercise is queen. Put them together, you have a kingdom. So combine those, exercise. Another time we can talk about that. So I want to end it there. And probably have a few, 1 or 2 questions, and then we shall finish it up. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience and for listening to us this evening. Karibu sana, Caro, if there is any question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jose, for the wonderful session. Nutrition is so wide, but you have covered so much in such a short time. Thank you for that. So in the interest of time, we are going to tackle a few questions, but I'd like to encourage our members that just in case we are not able to address your question now, please feel free to reach out to Hosea through the number provided. And in case maybe you need extra support, feel free to also reach out to him for that extra support. This is in partnership with Equity Afya, and they are in our panel. So we'll address 3 or 4 questions, Jose. I hope that's okay in the interest of time. So the first one is, do soybeans, tea, and cocoa have caffeine?
Okay, soybeans, tea, and cocoa, do they have caffeine? Soybeans doesn't have caffeine. And actually, soybeans are very good. It's a very good caffeine alternative. And also, it is very good actually for women in that it has what we call soy isoflavones that help balance your hormones. So soy doesn't have caffeine. Cocoa has caffeine. Cocoa has caffeine. Cocoa has caffeine. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And is cocoa safe for children?
No. I would recommend one of the reasons as to why we are having so many hyperactive children today is because of actually eating things that have a lot of caffeine, be it sodas, be it all these chocolates. They have been added. They have that caffeine component, and so they are hyperactive. Wanarukaruka hapa kila mahali. So I will not recommend if your child is hyperactive. One of the ways to tell that is actually whether they're taking as a beverage. If you're taking them, just read the food labels of whatsoever you have given them. You will see that even the energy drinks today, they have added caffeine. We are consuming a lot of caffeine today, and actually it is not wise. And caffeine comes with a problem of acidity. Also, it comes with a problem of addiction. There's actually a disease today called caffeineism. It's a whole another problem that is out there. So I think that will be very wise that let us not give our children caffeine. Let us give them a diet that really enriches them, a diet that will keep them going on for longer periods, not for them to be addicted. Maybe the analogy I want to bring in there, if I don't eat, but I have not eaten, let's say I've not eaten an apple for a full week and I am not having headache. But if you don't take caffeine, if you are used to taking it and you live off it for one day and you have a headache, then that tells you that caffeine is dangerous. It's actually a stimulant and one of the most difficult things to overcome when you get addicted to it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So can taking supplements substitute the diet deficiency? So I think what she means is, can supplements substitute the nutrition deficiency?
Now, I will want to say this. I really don't encourage so much people taking supplements if you have the really food available, unless you are living in a place whereby that food is not available. But I will say that so long as you have a balanced diet, so long as you maintain that plate that we have said, have a vegetable, make sure that you have your serving of vegetables every day, your serving of fruits every day, you really have a balanced nutrition. Yes, supplements you can take, but let them not substitute. Supplement, medicine, they should not substitute the food naturally as it is found. Yes.
Okay, maybe you can shed some light on colon cleanse. Is it effective? And what can it be used? When can it be used?
I wish, Caroline, I wish we could organize another more conversation on this constipated generation. Actually, I will say that yes, we need a colon cleanse, and actually they work. One of the best colon cleansers around is, of course, let us make use of what we call there's a colon cleanse called Senna. If you know somebody who knows colon cleanse, maybe supplements, there's a supplement, a very wonderful supplements. Actually, you can mix Senna and Wormwood. Those are a very wonderful colon cleanse. But of course, let us not abuse it. The most wonderful colon cleanse that you can do daily is actually eating your vegetables and taking enough water. That is the wonderful colon cleanser that you need every day. But of course, if you have problems, kuna watu ambao hawaendi haja for 3 days. That means you are eating every day. You try to imagine umefanyia ng'ombe zero grazing, umekula nyasi the whole day, and then there's no output. You see, input, there must be an output. Now you try to imagine for 3 days you have eaten every day and you are eating heavy meals, and then there's no output. That means that uchafu, it's clogged in your system. It needs to come out. One of the things that we do in hospitals, we do an enema, and sometimes those enemas really don't remove everything. Now, when you do a personalized enema, today there's what we call a coffee enema. You can actually, if you know a doctor, you can actually recommend for them to do you a coffee enema. When my dad was sick and I went to see him in the hospital, I recommended they do him a coffee enema. And oh my, what came out, I cannot even imagine to tell. It was a whole basin of, and I asked, was that all that in your system? So we really need to ensure that we are eating a lot of fiber, vegetables every day, and we remove everything that is in the system. We have regular bowel movements. If you have eaten 3 meals, ensure that you have 3 regular bowel movements in a day. Yes, thank you.
Okay, maybe 2 more questions. The next question is on, you mentioned something on you're not supposed to take water with food as it interferes with digestion.
Yes.
So the question here is it just pure plain water or also other liquids?
Oh, of course, I was talking about water. Of course, other liquids still, they interfere with digestion. We are not supposed to wash down our food. Just when you have lubricated your system well in advance, when you're used to taking water, and this takes training, it is not something that happens in a day. When you're used to taking water, your system will be so used that you can consume a meal, and a meal doesn't have to be flowing like River Nile for you to eat it. So long as it has some small soup, you can actually be able to tolerate that meal. Why many times we require drinks in our meals is because we are dehydrated. We don't need, many times people tend to think that when you are thirsty, that is when you are dehydrated. Never wait for you to feel thirsty. Never wait. Actually, when you feel thirsty, that means your body is really lacking water. So never wash down a meal, neither with water nor with anything. Just see a way around it that you can have a meal whereby it's solid, and then that will avoid snacking in between. When you wash down a meal with anything, it brings in the issue of snacks. Remember, that meal has water. That fluid, whatever you're taking, even if it's juice, it has water. It first has to be absorbed. It takes the space of the food that you need to eat. That is why you will find that you are eating regular meals every now and again, and your stomach is not resting. Yes.
Okay. The final question. I know this is it's a topic on its own, but maybe you can just highlight. So I've heard about the water fast. So how effective is it? So this person is basically doing a water fast for 72 hours.
Water fast for 72 hours.
Yes.
That is 3 days. 72 hours, that is 3 days. Well, I have heard of it too. Actually, personally, I also fast, but not for 3 days. Once a week, at least I give my stomach rest. I told you the stomach needs rest. All our problems, many of them begin in the stomach, so it needs rest. So what I can recommend is that if you are doing such a long fast, make sure that probably you have an emergency service nearby, probably an ambulance. You don't need to fast for that long on water. You may end up collapsing. Many have died, and many times why people fast that way is that probably due to religious reasons. Sometimes they fast, they want to lose weight. Of course, fasting is very good, but make sure that when you are fasting, first ensure that you have a medical practitioner. They can give you an okay that it's okay to fast. Because sometimes you may have an hidden disease. For example, you have diabetes and you did not know, and then you go fasting, and then your sugar levels come so low, and you end up dying. So it is okay, but let there be, I will not say it's okay, but let there be supervision. Let there be supervision such that you don't overdo it. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was the last question in the interest of time. So in case you have, like I mentioned earlier, in case you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Hosea. Maybe I'd just like to read one or two comments in the chat. So one, will the recording be available? Yes, it will. So if you are in our platform, we will share the recording of the session. Also, members are happy with the presentation, Hosea. So a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. I agree. Yes, a really great and eye-opening presentation. Thank you so much. Yes, I do agree that this was very timely, very well executed. Thank you so much, Hosea, for taking us through today's presentation. I feel there's so much more to be covered. We can organize a subsequent session, maybe starting next year as part of Total Health Research Season 3. But to the members joining in, this was brought to you by Jubilee Health Insurance and Maisha Fiti. And this is part of the Total Health Research Program where we work with our members for 12 weeks and we engage different specialists, we address different topics, and we have a panel of experts. We're working with the lifestyle doctors, the likes of Hosea, nutritionists, fitness experts. So we are almost done with season 2, but it's not too late to, join us in case you haven't joined the Total Health Research Program. Before I wind up, was there any parting shot?
Just what I can say, begin. Your healthy journey can begin with the next meal tonight. So just begin there. And yes, to the last question I have seen there, please, if there's freshly squeezed juice, please take. May God bless you. Thank you for being a wonderful audience. See you next time and have a wonderful night. Don't overeat at night. Eat that heavy meal during breakfast. May God bless you so much.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Hosea, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Do have yourselves a lovely evening and see you next Thursday for the next webinar. Have a lovely evening.
Yes, thank you so much. Santi.